Kitten Features, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in a student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wayne in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Show X on VTWProductions.com. And unfortunately, no, we are not joined this week by our good friend Ken. He is out doing other things, celebrating his anniversary with his wife, Miss Kitten Features. And so we are left to mine own devices. Whether that be good or not, we will see. But too bad, you're stuck with me. Anyhow, you're listening at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT on this Sunday, the first Sunday in 2016. Welcome, everybody. It is January 3rd, 2016, and we're going to try to start off the year on the right foot. All right, so to get things going, we're going to jump in with
Dysfunctional deviations.
And this week on Dysfunctional Deviations, I, if those watching on the video wall see, am not in my normal abode. Instead, I am out traveling this week, and I am in California. I'm out here to visit my family, my brother's side of the family, for the new year, since it is that time. And so I've been traveling this last week, and that's basically what I've been doing for my dysfunctional deviations. I can't say I've been doing too much that hasn't been geeky. I mean, it's been with family, so mostly it's been a matter of hanging out, having a good time there. Seeing my nephews is probably the biggest deal, since I did get to see them earlier in the year when we had our whole family interaction, but my brother had asked to see if I could come back again to visit them over the holiday, so I stayed home for Christmas to actually have a Christmas at home for the first time in a while, and then decided to fly out here to California, where it is warmer, but I must say not decidedly warmer. It's a little cool still. Not Colorado weather, that's for sure. And I seem to have lucked out yet again of snaking out just before the cold front hit, because as I left California, I think it was a balmy 20 degrees maybe, and it got down to 9 or 10 degrees on some of the days while I have left, while here it has been in the 40s and 50s. In fact, today I think is one of the warmest days since I've been here. So unfortunately, this time to California, this time to San Francisco area, it's not a beach weather kind of trip, but it's still nice to be running around without heavy jackets everywhere. So that's a nice piece, as well as no snow or anything like that, not waking up to frosty iced windows, as well as skipping out on work for basically a week or two, which is always a nice way to start my new year. Let's see, what else has been going on? So, officially, like I had said at the beginning of the top of the show, it is a Happy New Year to everyone out there. And I do have a discussion for later about what to say we are all going to do as gamers this year for the new year. Anyhow, as I go through, I'm trying to think if there's anything else worth mentioning in Dysfunctional Deviations this week. Travel was fine, although there was something about flying on a plane and not having any pilots scheduled for the flight. That's always fun. Thank goodness my flight's direct, and so it was just a matter of getting on the plane and getting out here. But there was a bit of frustration, and at least I was able to keep an amused tone the whole time, where sitting at the gate, plane's there, everything's been loaded, ready to go, and the issue isn't something with the plane, thankfully, but is instead looking and saying, oh, we don't have any pilots to actually fly this flight anywhere today. I know that there's an issue where there's limits legally to what pilots can fly in a week, which is good. We don't want fatigued pilots because they have a lot of people's lives on their hands. But at the same time, it's a little bit frustrating when you've done everything you can. You got there early in the morning to beat it through security, when things are packed and people are just trying to get out, and you're left at the gate with a plane ready to go and no one to fly it. And I guess we were only sitting there for maybe an hour-ish or so after our scheduled departure time. But there's still a bit of frustration where you're just like, man, we could be not here. Especially when I'm out traveling to be on vacation to visit family. So, oh well, that happened. But I made it out safe and fine, and I am here. Let's see. Really, that may be about it for dysfunctional deviations. I've been, like most things lately, it seems like I've been getting more and more geeky to spend my time, or at least my non-geeky things are so trivial that they really are not something worth airing. They're not entertaining enough. So, haha, look at that. All of 6 minutes in and dysfunctional deviations is over. So I will switch that over and give it the proper...
I'm a geek. Are you a geek? Geek cred, level up!
With that, jumping right into our geek cred for today. So, what have I been doing that's been geeky? Well, that's one of the advantages of being around family. Almost everything I do is geeky. Although I do, now I'll start out with my geek and then we'll get into emails, because I do want to send a shout out and thanks to all of you who sent in emails this last week, wishing a New Year's to everyone, and in general just talking about what you've been up to in your geek cred. I very much appreciate that. So, this is the week I'm getting prepared now for CES. CES starts officially, I think, Tuesday, although there's already pre-stuff going on in Las Vegas as we speak. There's a ton of preview information out there talking about what to expect this year in CES. Some of the biggest ones I've been seeing are things about 3D, of course. Unfortunately, the big announcement from Oculus is that their half-moon controllers, or whatever they're going to call their Oculus Touch controller they're working on, is not going to be coming out until later this year. But I'm still hopeful that CES may have a demo of the controller that people can get hands and eyes on with, in which case that'll be one of the first places I try to find. Other than that, televisions as always, 4K and above. I don't know if we'll see any more advancements in 3D, and we'll just see what kind of goes on. It's one of the interesting things to note as I've been out here and went to the local candy store with my older brother, as we always do, which is a Fry's out here in the Oakland area. And the Fry's Electronics, one of the things of note was that we walked around the aisles and there were a ton of extra stocks of televisions everywhere. My brother seems to believe that it's because, you know, they projected for a lot of sales for the holiday, but in all actuality did not receive them. Thoughts being that, and we've talked about this before with television technology, is if you already own a TV that is really nice, why would you need to go buy one of these new ones? What's so amazing about new televisions that you need to replace a perfectly good full HD TV that you already have in your house? I suffer from that issue in that I've got a perfectly fine 55-inch LG 3D capable 1080p set that's tiny and gorgeous. And it's a smart TV. I can stream things to it as needed and such. And I spent okay money for it when I bought it several years back. But since then, I don't see any reason why I would need to upgrade. The biggest thing I want to do myself is put a bigger TV, kind of like to fill the space that the TV is currently in. Since there's a gap around it, I'd like to fill that up more. But beyond that, I don't know why I would buy a new TV. I don't want any more in my house per se. 4K would be nice, but there's really no content for it. And so I'm just kind of left with my TV's gorgeous, I don't need a new one. So I think that might have been what hit essentially all of the retailers this year, is that they probably didn't sell nearly as many TVs as they thought. So I'll be very curious to see if there's anything that wows me at CES this week, as I will be flying out there Wednesday morning, first thing in the morning, and try to go and cover as many things as I can. I still would like to throw it out there that if there's anything you all would like me to cover, please let me know. Email into the show at showx@vtwproductions.com. Give me a tweet at DocDead on Twitter, and just kind of let me know what it is you'd like me to go check out. I always have the things I go for my interests, but I really want to represent all of you to make sure I'm using my time wisely and providing good content for you. Other things that'll be big this year, they were talking about some navigation things for television, a lot of 3D printing, as well as more things with different types of drones, both the traditional quad rotors out there, as well as some of the higher ones and more plane-like things like that. So there'll be just a ton out there. Let's see, one of the things, and so Kuro talks about with the new TVs, one of the things that he's looking forward to is the OLEDs, and once they're affordable, and that's kind of the key word there, because we did see at Fry's a couple of the OLEDs on display. They're gorgeous, tiny, thin, exactly what I'd want in an OLED TV. The challenge being they were still costing in the range, I want to say the cheaper one, that 50 inch was like $3,000 or something like that. which for the technology to me just doesn't add up. I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful set. The blacks are actually absolutely inky, but for $3,000 you can get like 5, 50-inch, basically regular LCD type televisions, LED backlit, and they're all gorgeous. So why would you spend that much on one unless, I don't know. So I do agree with you, Kuro, about that. And like for me, I'm looking for, just because I'm silly, a very small TV to throw into my bathroom. I don't want one in my bedroom, but I do want one in my bathroom because I do spend time taking baths or getting ready in the morning. It would be nice to have one right there. And much like you're saying, Kuro, which is what reminded me, I'd really just hook up my Chromecast to it. And so my other thought is, what I'd really love to see is new gaming monitors. That's something I'm absolutely looking forward to. Right now, the challenge is, the G-Sync monitors that I'm looking for. I'd like an upgrade. I want something that's going to replace my current 28-inch 1080p Asus or Acer. I forget what I have. I think Asus that I have sitting there. And I want it to be an upgrade in both resolution and for gaming purposes. I'd love to have some G-Sync to match my video card. The challenge is I was hoping 4K, but to get the 144 hertz, you can only do it in the 3K range, the ones that are the 2000 by 1440, I think, resolution level. So higher than a regular 1080p set, but not true 4K. Because the 4K interfaces, they're still stuck at the 60 hertz. So I'm really hoping at CES this week I'll see something from some graphics manufacturer, monitor-wise, that shows that they are addressing that issue and that they've come up with a faster refresh rate on 4K displays. I'd also love to see maybe a reduction in the price of those gaming ones, because right now to get a good 28-inch 144 hertz higher resolution monitor is about $700 to $800. I would love to see that drop to a more reasonable $500 or less, maybe $300 to $400 on sale, because then it's definitely in my range. Other things I'm hoping to see there is, hopefully everything will be on a beautiful, I think it's the IPS panels now that are more gorgeous versus the TFT or TNT ones. I'm also hoping to see, it would be great, and I don't care if it's a Chinese, Taiwanese, or some other off-brand manufacturer, but let me see a monitor that has a combination of both G-Sync and FreeSync in the same monitor, so that you don't have to choose which video card you have or what manufacturer. Wouldn't it be nice if someone basically blended the two technologies and allowed you to run it all regardless? That would be amazing. And I'll tell you, if that premium was an extra $50, because honestly, those modules are not as expensive as they're selling them. And so if it was like an extra $50 to have them both in there, that would be, I think, game-changing for me. And that way you don't get stuck into the single architecture of one manufacturer, one brand of video card. That's super annoying. And I know we're not quite at the technology point where we have just a basically updated vertical sync technology, so it's all whatever, and not FreeSync or G-Sync, but that'd be amazing. So those are some of the big things I'm hoping to see this year. Someone wow me with new tech that's actually going to lead us forward in some way with gaming. Other than that, like I said with CES, there's always the stuff of car technology. Like I said, I already know there's going to be at least I think it's an Audi or something that has some kind of gesture technology that goes with it, which I have no idea what they're trying to implement with that. I'm hoping to see some more things about autonomous cars and see what direction those are going. And beyond that, it's really going to be, I think, left up to what random things I run into. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of new action cams, because there's always a huge bunch of competition against GoPro, since they are the leaders of the pack right now. But beyond that, I don't know what else we'll see. It'll be interesting to go on with that. So yes, by all means, please let me know if there's things you really want me to look for, so that I can expand my vision. I'm going to be there for 3 days. I'll be there Wednesday morning. Fly in first thing. My goal right now is to travel directly to the conference, get my badge, and go right in. I'm staying down on the old Fremont Street, and from what I looked at, they have a bus that travels between the two, but I can't check in until that afternoon. And so the other challenge I run into, though, is that they have new rules this year at CES limiting the size of bags that you can bring in. In the past, when I've done one of these couple-day blitzes, I basically just packed a backpack itself and threw a change of clothes in it and took that with me on the show floor that first day until I could check into the room and leave it all at the room. Because I don't know if they'll let me do this year, I'm a little concerned that I may have to try to find a place to store my bag while I'm there and still travel around with my microphone and my camera to try to capture some of what I'm seeing. So we will see. I'm not planning this year on taking my laptop. As lovely as it would be to give you guys right away photos up each night, I am not that media hub. I am not that connected to be able to get those posts out. So you're going to have to wait until I get home the following Sunday, the next show, and get some of the things posted there. So we'll see. But yeah, no, I'm still looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's always a good time, and so we'll see what's going on with that. Let's see. Ha! I haven't even looked, Hando, yet on what my nephew's built in our server. I saw him working on it for a minute, and then he got bored and went back to a bunch of other servers on Minecraft. So I'll have to go in there and check. Unfortunately, I don't remember my password to have remotely installed on this laptop, so I haven't been able to log in myself. I have to go back and wait till I get home on my PC to do that. Let's see, what else are you guys saying? So, Dr. Gen... I always say it wrong, but Genkidesho, our good friend DJ Bullock, he's coming in there talking about awesome games done quick is going on this week for anyone interested, and that's something that I know Miss Copy always wants us to pimp out there, since it's a great cause for charity where you get to see some of the best gamers on specific games do fast runs to kind of show, one, how quickly you can accomplish some of these games through whatever means possible, as well as just really neat gameplay of people that have amazing ability. So go check that out after the show, of course, if you're interested in seeing games done quickly. They play on Twitch TV and should be on the front page today as they're playing. What else? It says, when headed to Vegas, go to Fremont Street and then head to Crate District. There's a Japanese toy store there called Kappa Toys. I may have to look at it. I want to say I've been there before, or I don't know if they're the one that's right there on the edge of Fremont Street. There's an old toy store. I went in there last time I was down, and the challenge I have is they are expensive. They do have a bunch of these old nostalgic toys, but I saw last time I was in there when it was unfortunately Octails going away, I think was last time I was there. Went in and they had a Swoop, which is one of the original Transformers I love, the Pterodactyl or Pteranodon, whichever you'd like to call. Original Transformer, and not even in box and kind of rough shaped. It was like $125 they were looking for, which, ouch. So I don't know if that is the store. I was like, no, I don't think so. But let's see what else. I see you guys talking about what it would take to actually run. Let's see, to run 4K gaming. So as we've talked about, Kuro runs 4K with The Witcher, as he's been playing Witcher 3. I don't know how many frames per second he gets, and I forget what card he's running off. I'm pretty sure he's got an AMD, but I don't see why there's a combination of things that people need to look at as they're looking forward to gaming as we're coming up in this year. With those primary examples of being 4K is a big deal, as well as 3D and VR as real things that are happening, there's the specs on what you need to run in a PC to get the best out of it. One of the big concerns people have is whether their computer will actually measure up to play like any of the Oculus content. I am not in the market yet to actually upgrade my computer. I really want to. In fact, I'm in the market in the sense that I want to today. I just don't have the funds, and I don't have the time to really put it together quite yet. And so with that, though, I am at the same time looking to buy an Oculus the moment they are available at pre-order. In fact, oh my god, please CES, please Oculus, have a pre-order setup ready at CES. I will give you money that day, because I've known I'm going to get one for I don't know how long. But they're talking about whether the specs on PCs today that people have, unless they're top-end dual SLI gaming machines, will have enough horsepower to push the necessary graphics to run any VR games. I would like to believe my system will work. I know at least on some games it should be able to handle it, since my 970 can run over 100 frames per second on multiple of the games I play, including Fallout 4 and, well, close to it, 90 or so. And Black Ops 3, I know it runs over 100. League of Legends over 100, things like that. And so I'd like to think with the right games, I'll be able to handle the new VR and what's necessary. Worst case, I may have to actually upgrade to get the best experience, but it's not going to stop me from buying. What else is on there? So for me, one of the things I really notice, it's funny, is I have like I said, 28 inch, but it's running at 1080p. And for me, it's perfectly fine. It doesn't bother me. I mean, it's a big screen at 1080p. And that's why even if I get a 4K set or monitor, I don't believe I would use it for 4K gaming all the time. But I would use it for desktop application when I'm doing Photoshop and things like that, or even the show, because it would give me more desktop to put all the tools. And that way, instead of having to span my 3 monitors all the time to run the show, or in this case, layer my laptop single screen to have everything running, I'd be able to set it up in a way that I'd actually be able to see everything really nice, which is what I'm hoping for. But I'd still believe I'd probably game at more like 1080p, or maybe that in-between 1444 type, or 1440 or whatever it is, resolution, whatever my card can handle to get smooth performance. But the other thing is I've realized with my monitor, I get so much tearing that I absolutely need a G-Sync monitor or some kind of a new syncs to make up for just a big, decent monitor that's not really designed for gaming. So I really do want one of these higher hertz rate ones, if nothing else. Preferably G-Sync. What else? I think I'd mentioned a little bit about the 3D printing aspect. I know that Robo3D, the company that I bought my 3D printer from, are going to be at CES. They are each year, and they've already put out things where they had a bunch of people work together to help print. And if my printer had been up in time to do this, I would have participated. It would have been great to get my name in there. They built their little logo robot that they have that you can go print out, but in essentially life size or human size by crowdsourcing the printing of it out to anybody who had an R1 or a Robo3D that wanted to participate. And so with that, I wished I had jumped in. I've been quite happy because I've been keeping my printer active constantly. One of the things I did is I had printed, and some people had seen the shot of one of the, I got a Thingiverse, and picked up a model of a lightsaber so that I could have a non-glowing lightsaber prop for the release of Star Wars when I went and watched it. Well, I ended up taking that printed one I had and gave it to a friend of mine on Christmas Day when we went and watched Star Wars again. Excuse me. And to do so, I just gave it up because for me, the 3D prints have been a great opportunity to kind of give people gifts of things that you may not otherwise normally run across. And it only cost me time, some wear on the printer, and filament. And it hasn't been so bad that I've really missed it, where I'm like, oh my god, that cost me $30 or $40, $50. Most of the stuff I printed is small enough that it's maybe a couple bucks. So not a big deal for me to give. So I gave one of our friends one of that lightsaber. Well, in thinking about it, and knowing that I was coming out here to visit my nephews, I rushed and found another model and basically went out and reprinted 2 lightsabers, two different ones, one for each of my nephews, since they both really enjoyed Star Wars. And in giving it to them, they were very excited there. Now, one of the challenges to get it done in time, I lowered the amount of infill and quality of the print I did. I came to find out that if you're printing props or something that might be run around with like a toy for kids who are both 14 and like 9, you need to print it a little more dense, because I will tell you, I ran into a situation where I've had to tell my brother I really needed him to go pick up some super glue because I've had to repair their lightsabers multiple times, each of theirs, for parts that either fell off on the end or ripped apart because they were printed too weak for kids' hands. I think they're currently in one piece each of them, but lesson learned. And if I had had more time, I would have done so, but it was one of the ways to make the prints all finish up in time, where the last one I had assembled right, just a couple hours before flying out to visit my family. Oh well. But also, I'll be really looking forward to in the 3D printing when I'm there to see what kind of other new filaments are available. And I'll tell you, if I can find a deal on one of these nicer printers, like for me, I'm really looking at the new Ultramaker, the XL one, and the one that's taller. Especially because it has a build height of, I think, down to 20 micron, where mine will do a minimum 1 micron, or 100 micron. As well as the Ultimakers are notoriously faster than my printer. I watched great, I think I talked about it before, but a great thing where Barnacles from, what's his channel again? I forget, but I've talked about him before, who printed out a full-size new Stormtrooper costume, and how long it took him. And one of the prints he did where I looked at it and realized on my printer that would probably take a 20-hour plus print, took him 10. Like, honestly, half the time in a better detail than what I can do. So, if I can find a way, I need to start selling my 3D prints, because then I could actually maybe invest in a new 3D printer, take that money and put it back in, because that Ultramaker that I want's like $3,000. But man, it would be so nice. Oh well, first world geek problems. But I will go around that entire booth and see who's sticking around for 3D printing and see who's kind of out of the market this year and what innovations there's been, because I'm very curious to see that. Let's see, what else? So continuing on, outside of CES, but like I said, please give me feedback. I want to know what you want me to do as your proxy as I go and embed myself in all this geekery and technology for 3 days. I go there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm doing the hardcore where I'm in there Wednesday. I'm flying back Friday night, which I always regret because most of the good parties happen Friday, and the vendors and such that go. I could have probably partied with the Robo 3D guys last year, but so that I can get back to regular life and not spend too much money on this trip, I'm flying back Friday night. I know I'm going to regret it again this year. Someone will invite me to a party and I'll be like, nope, I'm catching an airplane. So we'll see. Yes, Kuro, metal 3D printing is going to be something I'm definitely going to be curious to see about. Definitely. And actually what's funny is that what they do with it right now is they do welding, essentially. They do 3D welding. And so it's basically all whatever kind of material you can use for, not the flux, but the actual welding material that comes in. They can build it up as a as a welder. And there's the nicer ones are ones that there's like I know at the professional level there's a titanium printer, and it uses basically titanium powder. It's in a sealed container, and with it actually bonds it through lasers or such to make titanium prints. So there's a ton of different possibilities out there. Essentially, you just pay for what you're going to do. Yeah, there's another one that does a ceramic printer that's been out and that you have to still do in a kiln to actually bake the ceramics. But again, so much technology with 3D printing, I will probably spend half a day, if not more, just in the 3D print space. In fact, Copy, when you talk about 3D prints for cosplay, you say that, but you could use it for jewelry and things like that. Like if I were to make Ganondorf's crown, I could actually print that in metal and polish it up. Now, weapons, things like that, no, because that's something that you don't, no one's going to let you wear or bring in. But with con rules, you could probably do detail pieces like armor, jewelry, and little clips like that, which is a big part of what I would be all over for. In fact, I'm just on the cusp of starting to do whatever next cosplay piece I do, and maybe start working on Ganondorf's crown, so I can start doing that costume. That, or since there's going to be new DC stuff, I finally, I want to do Cyborg and be able to do his faceplate. But I still also need to do a 3D scan of myself to get all the proper dimensions to do some of that. So we'll see. Lots of things to come. We'll see what I end up with. In fact, I just had ideas. I'm probably going to try to build a Thresh mask from League of Legends. And I have League of Legends to talk about here shortly. Because I was looking at his model as I was showing family more this week. And I think I could build the main faceplate out of regular plastic to make a solid mask for the skull. But then I'm pretty sure I could build his various articulated like horns coming off the back in flexible 3D print. So it'd have a bit of a bend to them, and as they would wiggle around a bit as I walked. And attach them through even then printed like flexible, basically cartilage like they have, where the little white pieces kind of blending between the parts of the regular flexible part that goes out. And basically build his whole headpiece like that and be able to move around and have the whole thing articulate. I'm really believing I could come up with something like that. I just have to come up with a good sculpting tool to come up with it and buy the right filament. But, anyhow, yes, 3D printing cosplay. I can't wait to do something real with that. That should happen. Let's see, what else? So, I was alluding to, as I was going forward with that, is other than CES and 3D printing stuff, I'll talk a little bit about games. First thing to say is the Steam sale is still happening and ends tomorrow, I want to say. So if there's anything you wanted to get on Steam, and actually it's been a pretty darn good sale this year, check it out now because you're about to run out. The gifting thread has been a success this year. By all means, continue with that for those who haven't got involved. You basically have today and tomorrow to do that. But jump in. I know that I just picked up yesterday because I finally couldn't stop myself, but I grabbed the latest Witcher. I grabbed Witcher 3 since it's gotten so many Game of the Year awards. It's 50% off on Steam. I thought, why not pull the trigger? I may just love that game. We'll see. Another one I just noted on here because a ton of people have loved it. I have it already, which is South Park Stick of Truth, RPG type funny game. Those kind of those characters with that writing. 75% off, basically $7.50 in the US on Steam. But go check it out. Also, go jump in the forums on the Steam gifting thread under Show X on the VTW forums. You can get there from the front page. And you can jump into the gifting thread and participate and receive a gift yourself while giving this holiday season. We all appreciate it. But yep, definitely wanted to get out there and say jump on it quick. Because the nice thing is that having these kind of sales has enabled me to help share gaming with essentially more of my friends and my family. In this case, jumping in, my nephews primarily play, one of my nephews, the younger one, plays a lot of Minecraft, Terraria, and Starbound, any of those creation type games. My other cousin, who actually just got Terraria on his 3DS, has been playing a ton of that. Also plays mostly Wii games with Smash and, Mario Party 800 or whatever it's on now. With some of his friends and things like that, and leveling up amiibos and all that. I had the opportunity to bring them into some things on Steam. So one of them is that, as a lot of us have been playing, I got to jump in there and play some Rocket League. Now this is something that my brother had already purchased on sale, and so he had played it a little bit, but I don't think my nephews had really given it any time. So they saw me playing it a bit and were like, what is this? Got them in, got them started playing, and then it was enough of a hit that my other nephew begged and pleaded his father, my brother, to try to purchase them another copy of Rocket League so that they could each have it and play together. And they had to go and pull some money together, what they had, and my brother kicked in the last bit, thank goodness for sales, and they now each have a copy of Rocket League, and I think both are playing it right now, if I'm not mistaken. I saw them pop up on Steam there a couple times. And so, unless they've since quit, but they were earlier both playing Rocket League. And so, that is very cool. And I've had the opportunity now to play a couple times with them. And we had some good chaos going together last night for those of us in the VTW world. I think we had a whole 4v4 going for a little while before I had to jump off and help my brother move a TV. So those little bits of also helping family. Also, besides Rocket League, I tried to get them to download Mech Warrior. Got my one nephew to, my younger one, mostly because I saw Hando and Ken were playing it last night. Hando and GoHex were both playing it, or night before. But the challenge is, by the time I got it downloaded and installed on the laptop, Ken apparently had already had his fill of the game, and Rage uninstalled it and decided he will never play Mech Warrior Online again. I talked to him a little bit about it. If he was on the show, he'd be able to defend himself since he's not. Haha. Apparently, any game that requires focus, time, and teamwork, he is just not a part of. If you haven't figured that out before, try to play Magica with him and you'll see his level of teamwork. But, Hando and we love that game. It's got so much good, just quality, like, tank-type tactical play. And he wasn't having it because he was just running over a hill by himself and getting nuked by the whole other team, and he couldn't understand why he kept dying so quick. And so he was not into it. But, man. Let's see. Jumping back in the IRC, as everyone's talking about, and yes, Rocket League is king. We do love this game. So when you talk about the... Let's see, where was it? Yes, awesome having you guys play with us. Thank you, DJ Bullock, for that. And Copy saying, I quit Mech Warrior 2. Aw, you gotta spend more time with it, so good. And then Serathis asking, does anyone still play Evolve? And it's funny, you know what? I like Evolve. Ken started playing Evolve since he got it on sale. I just haven't played it forever because nobody's been like, hey, let's play some. And I see a few people on my Steam list every once in a while playing Evolve, I think including you, Serathis. So, yes, I would definitely jump into Evolve again if people want to play it. Let's see, I say this, although I won't be playing today after the show because I am here with family, and it's nice enough that they let me steal and clog up their inner tubes for the internet web from them for 2 hours while I could be hanging out with my nephew. So, unfortunately, no gaming after the show for me this week, and probably not again next week because I have an event to go to right after, and I'll be dying to get through all the CES coverage, but we'll see. All right, so next one, other than MechWarrior Online, which we haven't had an opportunity to do for. The other one that we're playing with is League of Legends, which isn't any new news, except that I started in this kind of a two-part discussion, which is that for whatever reason we're looking through, my brother is much like me where we've cut the cord. We don't have traditional access to television or entertainment like that. It all comes through the internet. He has a bunch of the devices to help enable that, like Roku's throughout the house, so he can stream things off of their apps they have plugged in. And a couple of the, I don't know if he has a PC behind anything, but definitely the Roku's is what he lives by. But one of the things we jumped into was, our family uses Plex, which is a wonderful way to share media as a whole. Anything that you have on your own system, you can share with people that you give direct access to. But the other thing is, with his Roku's, they have apps like Hulu and Netflix and all the streaming apps, as well as Twitch. And so, as I was telling Copy earlier just before the show, I will likely take the time and introduce them to Games Done Quickly right after the show so that they can see what that's about and see if there's anything they're interested in on the schedule. Which, if I'm not mistaken, and Copy, you could probably post an IRC for me if you'd be so kind, a link to the schedule since you sent it to me. But it's gamesdonequick.com/schedule, and you'll be able to see when they're playing the various games. But yeah, so I hope to introduce them to that. But while we were on there, we were watching Twitch, and there was an ESL match. My brother was kind of marveling over what all was on Twitch, and we were jumping between different channels, trying to explain to him what makes a Twitch streamer. Some of my nephews, one of my nephews, my younger one, would like to start streaming. For him, he says YouTube, making videos for Minecraft. He thinks that'd be a lot of fun, since that's where he spends all his time. I basically advertised that I would be happy to help them both out with getting started with casting or recording or whatever, and we'll see if that goes anywhere. But as we were talking about it, I was showing my brother Twitch and kind of talking to him the numbers you need to make to get money. And he saw we were on some various channels where someone got a donation. He was all confused by that. So I explained to him the donation process and kind of helped him see some of the people who probably generate more money than others, and how the viewership works and who's popular kind of deal, and kind of mentioning the classics. Oh wait, a female gamer who happens to have some cleavage likely has a little bit more of attach rate than the whiny, kid gamer who does nothing but yell and scream versus give any good content. And at the same time, me who fails all because I just play games and don't really yell and scream, and I'm just an okay player so nobody cares. Or you could be talented like DJ Bullock and actually have good content where you spin records all night long on a Friday night on Twitch, and you can watch that. And we really need to get him to start streaming on our show. But so we were going through that, and in doing so, I found him an ESL match for League of Legends, because I was basically talking about League of Legends really has figured out the best way of commentating for gaming of any of the games out there so far. CSGO is good, and it's the best FPS out there, but for watching an actual active event and having someone talk about what's going on and seeing the most action, League of Legends really has it locked down. Some of the other RTSs like StarCraft and some of those are great in the sense that you can watch a lot of action, but you get more that what are different members of a team doing in League of Legends, which makes it so fun to watch. It's very much like a sporting event, but for gamers. And yeah, exactly. Seraph Hando and Dr. Genkident's show, as I can still never pronounce it. That's exactly right. The internet, boobs. There you go. But in doing so, we were watching one of the League of Legends tournaments, and I kind of helped talk him through because he had questions about the game since he hadn't played it for quite some time. I think my brother only installed it when we were playing at a Game Fest that he came out to so that he could play with us. And so I talked him through one of his matches we watched is a best 2 out of 3 between two teams. One of the teams already won, the other one won the second round, and they're going through a third round together for the final match. But talking him through it, he was kind of really intrigued by me talking about all the strategy they were doing, the different characters, why the play was working. And granted, I can only commentate in the sense that I know what's generally going on. I don't know enough of the game to be able to use all the names, the proper terms for the abilities, all those strategies of who the players are. I just know, like, this is what's happening because they need to win the game, and to do this, they're getting Dragon or Baron or the neutral camps, those kind of things, just talk through it. But he kind of looked at me and was like, huh, and got really interested as a whole with how League of Legends was being played and how I talked to him about all the strategy in the game. At which point afterwards, he was excited enough that he went and grabbed his Mac and ran over to his installs and started downloading and updating League of Legends from when he had last played it, as well as we convinced both my nephews to give it a shot as well. That said, it's interesting because at the ages my nephews are at, they hadn't gotten into League themselves yet because none of their friends they know directly play it, which I was a little surprised. And I was trying to explain to them that League of Legends is the biggest, probably single game available out there today, and you can run into it everywhere. I have gone to a mall just on a random thing and heard people talk about League of Legends. It is such a pervasive game. It is definitely the biggest one out there. And so with that, I was encouraging them to give it a shot, since there's a likelihood in school or something they're going to run into somebody they know who plays it. And so they downloaded it, and we started kind of getting through it. And I had not been in a tutorial in League of Legends since I played the game since Alpha, or Beta, I guess. That I didn't know all the things they've updated, but I got to watch them all go through the tutorial, at least the initial piece, and I said, please play it. This will answer more questions than I can sitting over your shoulder initially. My brother got through it mostly no problem, although there are some bugs in the League of Legends tutorials. In fact, my brother ran into a bug splat at one point where it just crashed. Thankfully, it was after he'd gotten through it, but basically just full crash. But overall, he got through it. My older nephew mostly got through it. I had to help him through a little bit. My younger nephew got into it, but had some issues where he basically wasn't paying attention to what the commentator or whatever was saying in his ear about what he needed to do next, or reading the text up. He was just trying to play the game, and he kept getting frustrated when it wouldn't let him play it how he wanted, because it was trying to highlight a certain feature of the game to teach. And so he wasn't quite getting it. I had to hand walk him through it a little more. Anyhow, we got through it finally, got everyone together, got my brother Earth on as well. And as a family, full 5 men, we started doing some bot games. Beginner level bots, co-op against the AI. But it was interesting to go through and kind of get into it. My brother was getting it, except that his first character he played was, let's see, who did he start with? He was having a challenge because he just could not get it. I think it was Renekton, where he just was like, it's a melee character, he's big, he should be able to handle stuff. And then he was going against a Leona, and I forget who else was in that lane, because bots is just 2 on each side and 1 in the middle. And, well, I think that's always bots. And he was getting so frustrated that he was like, how am I a melee character that gets getting owned by other melee characters? I was like, you know what, honestly, I don't know how to play Renekton, so good luck with that. Eventually I got him on Zillion, which he started enjoying, and I was like, yep, that's more your speed, and then told him like 2 or 3 other characters he could probably play like Zillion. My youngest nephew kind of bounced around. I think he played Jinx first, and one of the challenges there is that he's at an age where he just wanted to play the game how he chose and not really understand kind of the mechanics or more integral parts of the gameplay. And it was much like when he tried to go through the MechWarrior stuff. I essentially realized that my younger nephew, who's all of 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, has no patience for tutorials. And so games that require that level of instruction to play effectively are a bit rough. So he's all into like Minecraft reading wikis and understanding recipes and stuff. And he's all into like Rocket League, straightforward, just run, play the game. It's just how you play it. But when there's all these different key combinations and things to do, like in League of Legends or MechWarrior, where there's a whole keyboard full of keys, not quite the right audience yet. My other nephew, though, he actually really got into it, the older nephew. At first he was having a rough time, but his hook, and it's funny, his go-to for any of these games is he loves dragons. Oh man, does he love dragons. In fact, I got to check to make sure they did get the book I'd sent from John Wasick, the Sword of Dragons book that I gave out to everyone, because I'm hoping he'll read it and actually enjoy it, since it does have dragons in it. Yeah, spoiler. But he jumped on, and free this week was one of the characters, Shyvana. And so, since Shyvana is basically a dragon, half dragon at least, he was all over it. He's like, I get to play dragon? I'm in, let's play this game. So he played through Shyvana, and thankfully also Riot has done a good job with League of Legends with updating their basic builds, the recommended, where you won't straight fail if you use a recommended build. You may not play it the most optimal or the way that's best suited for you, but you can at least get some success. And so I could basically leave them to that, where it's like, here's how it works, here's how you buy, do it, and they basically did well there. Younger nephew, he couldn't realize when he kept telling me he should probably go back and heal because he'd run out there and get himself nuked down to almost no health and then stay out there. We're like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity. You got away. You should go heal. I've still got health. It's like, it's not knowing, understanding that level of not dying in the long run is better than staying alive just longer. Again, hard to explain to the younger. But the older, he started getting it. And there's still, I mean, it's hard whenever you see someone who's honestly first time playing the game. Their ability to do some of those clicks where they can run and shoot, run cast abilities, things like that. It's hard, right? And you get so used to it yourself that it's like, well, I do this second nature. And helping to coach someone how to get used to that is difficult because you can't get them to click and manipulate the controls like you know how to. So you have to kind of talk through it and just kind of hope they pick up the meaning and what you're after. But it was a lot of fun to watch them get in and start playing the game. And I think afterwards, and I'm so excited about this, my older nephew was very much just like in it to win it. I had to talk to him through the store point where I was like, you're going to have to play this a lot because Siobhan is only going to be free for a couple more days, and then you don't know who you're going to get. And you have to earn up that 3150 IP before you can unlock her permanently, because I am not going to encourage anyone to put money into a free-to-play game until you absolutely have to. If you're enjoying it that much, or until there's something you're enjoying it that much, you just want to support them by buying skins or whatever it is. So we'll see what he does with that, but I was really happy. We got to play through several bot matches, enough so that he kept saying, like, are we playing another? Are we playing another? And that tickles, an uncle to say, I have brought you into another fold of gaming. Thank you very much. So that was a great time. Thank you, League of Legends. I appreciate it. You gave me an avenue to kind of work with my nephews as another game that we could play together. And hopefully I'll get them all online to actually play some regular matches, and we'll see if he gets into the competitive. That would be nice. Okay, outside of League of Legends, what else have I done? I hate to say it, but I'm somewhat excited to see what it's going to be like when I get back home tomorrow night, although I won't be able to stay up, and that's going to be a challenge. I have to work the next day. But I did not, I thought I had meant to, but I just didn't install Clicker Heroes on my laptop. Probably for the best, because that thing is worthless screensaver, but it catches my time where I'll just sync time into it. But since I haven't touched it, and I won't have for basically a week, I'm curious to see when I come back how much gold I will have earned and what level I'll be able to attain in the game. That if that much patience is paid off enough that I'm now able to reach higher levels each time because I have enough gold to spend on something, and maybe finally be able to scratch one of the bosses our clan is on Clicker Heroes against, because right now I do thousands of points of damage per click, where the mobs have millions and millions of points of damage that they can take, and there's like 2 people in the guild that can actually do enough damage to matter. Maybe 3. Wrath, GoHex, and I think PSUF are the only ones who can actually scratch it. So beyond that, no. So I'm looking forward to getting back and playing that. Also, because I try to keep at least a few games on the laptop, never knowing when I'll have an opportunity to game, or I might be stuck at an airport or on the plane and want something that don't require an active internet connection to play, because I don't trust it while I'm on the road. But one of the things I installed, because thank you those who gifted and got me things over the holidays. Please don't give me any more. I have enough, more than enough games. But I installed Undertale. As everyone talks about, I know there's love and hate. I think GoHex specifically is like, screw that game, it's stupid. It's got these old school graphics. I just started playing through. I think I'm level 5 in it, not much time on it yet. Thankfully to come on the road, and because I knew I was doing Rocket League with my nephews, I brought my controller, my Xbox controller that I have. And so that plays really well with Undertale. I mean, I think it's equally easy to play on keyboard, but it's just nice to sit back, relax, and play it on the controller when you don't need that kind of precision. And so that's very nice. And so as Wrath, as I'm talking to him now, starts up Clicker Heroes so that he can again scratch the boss. But going through that Undertale, it's interesting because everyone I hear about, they talk about the writing in the game and how that one is really something that a lot of people have enjoyed. And so I'm looking forward to getting into it further. I've just scratched it myself a little bit, the surface, where, not knowing what will be the results of how I play the game, I just started learning that I don't have to fight everything, and that I can actually do mercy and some of the other modes where you can get through and kind of talk to creatures and stuff, where I was like, what? Don't you just kill everything? And I've been given some advice lightly about how I should play it. So we'll see. Right now I'm just kind of going to see what leads me down and, what path I'll end up on playing Undertale and to see what I learned from this experience. It looks fun so far, interesting, so I'm going to play through it some more. Other than that, let's see, another advantage I've had to being out here with my family. My older brother being involved with the company OpenROV, where they make these little subs that you can fly around from the surface and all the tech he does since he's the lead programmer. We get into some very interesting discussions about technology and very different perspectives. One of the things is that my sister-in-law is really big on some of the politics and what's going on in the world. She really likes renewables and things like that you'd expect from someone that's very much got a California mindset. But they are right here in kind of a crux of where there's a lot of technology companies around. So they talk about things like what's going on with startups and things like Uber and what's going on with companies that have kind of popped up and got millions of dollars of funding and then whether they exist or not later and things like that. So I have some really good intellectual kind of deeper conversations that I sometimes do at home where I'm around friends that are all focused on the kind of the same thing. And so it's nice to kind of get a different perspective and different way of looking at the world. And so with that, I'm always really happy to come and have some of those sit-down conversations with my brother and sister-in-law about just whatever is kind of interesting to them at the moment. One of the things that we talked about, my brother and I actually talked about a bit, and he found a podcast he was showing me. I need to find out the name of the podcast. But it was a group of tech guys that were discussing, in the episode he showed me was all about AI, artificial intelligence, and what that means, both today and what we expect it to mean in the future. Because one of the funny things is we always hear these discussions about artificial intelligence, right? And this is just kind of a side on what we talked about as a whole. But essentially it was talked about like, do we have artificial intelligence already? Because we talk about these big ideas of remapping the human mind and kind of showing a computer do the same thing. So you have things like neural networks where they actually program computers to interact or register and stuff like that to react like the different neurons in the brain, and which allows them for machine learning and some of the things like that. And we're currently in a state where they have fully modeled out the brain of a worm. I forget what kind. But a basic worm where they've been able to take that AI technology, that fully mapping of how that brain works, all the neurons in it, in a very simple brain, and put it into a car, essentially with sensors that stimulate those centers of the brain. And they were able to make a little remote control car that was completely built off or controlled by this AI, a blank brain essentially with all these neurons without any stimulus or anything given to it, like programming it, and just put it into the world, and it was able to learn to move, navigate, and stuff like that on its own off of this totally basic mapping of a worm's brain. Awesome, right? But so in doing so, they're talking about, so does that mean we've actually built AI? Or are we limited to this level of, like, we have this vision of what AI is, which is some realistic Android or something or computer system that we talk to that's completely, unable to be determined as being artificial versus human. That's the whole, what is it, the interrogation game? Or I forget what it is, but it's the imitation game, sorry. The one that the movie was based about when, I forget the name of the guy who first built the first computer in Britain when he broke the Enigma from Germany, but in doing so created a concept that, the Turing machine. So Mr. Turing, who did it, that they discuss AI being able to pass the test of asking questions and not being able to determine if it's real or not. But there's already so many levels of AIs out there. It's just whether they can do general AI or simple AI in the sense of, can they accomplish one task totally autonomously where they're given basic instruction and they go about their business all day? Or do we wait to really say we've succeeded in AI until we get that life form kind of AI that does everything itself and doesn't need any coaching or anything from humanity, that it's able to learn and just continue on its own? Interesting discussions. From what I heard of it, I'd like to believe that we basically have achieved AI. It's just not at that level that most people are looking for, that when we think of it. So it's really like some neat stuff out there, because even some of the learning we do with things that think as rapidly to do is make decisions in an informed way. You can even talk about it to like car systems that react to the road conditions, things like that are an artificial intelligence. And so with that, they exist. Yeah, as we talk about smart cars coming out, things like that, again, that has AI, it's for a specific set of tasks, but in doing so, it does it on its own. Therefore, it exists. And so I'd like to think we do have AI based on those, those kind of descriptions of what it could be. So, but it's just really neat for me and very stimulating to get these high-level discussions about subjects I just don't even think about on a daily basis, as well as I get stuck in some of the trash TV, I say trash, entertaining TV that I don't normally pay attention to on some of this things out there. We watched a lot of like America's Worst Chefs or the World's Worst Chefs or whatever that was, which you wouldn't believe people are that bad at cooking, but fun show. And we watched a lot, and they introduced me to the show Blackish, which I think is actually really entertaining. And at first I was kind of going against, I don't normally fall into the stereotypical black family type thing, but this is honestly, I would say, a way to say it without any of the dirty innuendos around it, a modern version of The Cosby Show. And one of my favorite parts about it is the eldest son in the show on Blackish is a geek, is a complete nerd, and his dad's trying to help him understand what it means to be a black man and grow up in black culture and have all this stuff. But the things that he's dealing with are just so amazing in that they're capturing kind of that geek culture. I mean, somewhat good, somewhat bad, but it's things like he wants to spend time building and talking about, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff like that versus sports and other things. It's just like the way they've kind of talked to that character, I really enjoy. Anyhow, all right. So those are some of the things I've been doing that have been geeky this week, and it's all been around my family. We're awesome. Love my family. They are amazing. As well as being able to get myself to... the only reason I travel or even have a DS is to be able to street pass with people. And I get to now street pass with my nephews and have been focusing heavily on trying to get it leveled up with them and collect all of their puzzle pieces before I run away, as I connect with my nephew right now again. So we have met 10 times now. You thankfully being able to connect more than once a day. As we go, his hashtag, as he commented to me, is Blackish, since that's like one of his favorite shows. So that entertains me a lot. Let's see. All right, with that, it's going to be time for me to take a break. I need time to rest the throat, get ready to talk about things in the Geekoscope. When I come back, I will read emails, because I do have some emails from everyone out there I'd very much appreciate. I've hopefully given you some time to send some more in if you have content you'd like to add to the show, or at least you have over this break. For this break, I am going to play. Even though Ken is not here today with us on the show, he is with us virtually. He pre-recorded us something to say Happy New Year to everyone. And I think I've already talked through several of the things he brings up in it, especially about the Steam sale and the gifting thread, where he was wrong. Pretty sure he said the sale ends today, but it's tomorrow. I checked. So anyhow, I'm going to play a clip from Ken about the new year, as well as a OC remix song for Sonic Adventure in the break. Give myself enough time to get some more water and get ready to talk some news as we get back. All right, with that, you're listening to ShowX on VTWProductions.com, and we will be back right after this. All right, everybody, see you shortly.
Send in your emails to showx@vtwproductions.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You are listening to ShowX on VTWProductions.com, but you already know that, because Wayne is hosting the show today. So I just wanted to say a couple of things. I wanted to first of all apologize for not being here. I am in fact celebrating my 2-year anniversary with my wife today, Mrs. Kitten Features, so off doing fun things and adventures and such. So apologies for that. I think the Christmas gifting thread will have ended as of today, actually, as in right now. Due to the fact that the Steam sales end today, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Wayne, but that's what that's what I think is true anyway. If that's the case, everybody in the thread should now have received their gifts. If not, please contact me and I will chase up the other person and be like, hey, poke, give your gifts. You're supposed to give gifts. So if you've forgotten or you've not done it yet, etc., go take part now and give the gifts that you said you would. Other than that, I hope you all got lots of nice tasty games on Steam sales and such, and I hope you all the best. Lots of love from Scotland, guys. Have a good show. Bye-bye.
listening to Show X on VTWProductions.com.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the show! And so, to start things out, I'm going to get into a little bit of email. So, first thing in email, a follow-up from last week, and this is P&A Part 2 from our good friend Pusa. So as she was finishing up, wow, she gave us a wall of text to continue her email from last week, which we didn't get to. It says, my internet is hating on me, or I am hating on the internet. Regardless, it has now died in quite unspectacular fashion. I guess I'll catch the podcast again this week. I was supposed to go and watch the movie That Must Not Be Spoiled on December 21st. But a merry little Christmas flu had been making rounds, and the hubby was camping in the bathroom, so we canceled our tickets. Sob. Now the plan is to see it on the 30th. Once it has been seen, we'll be heading off to pick up a rabbit. It'll get a great life about 24 hours with our other rabbits before it is scheduled for a meeting with our grill for the New Year's feast. That is what you do with cute little animals. Our little farm is scheduled to become one step closer to self-sufficient in the new year. We got a breeding pair of rabbits just waiting to be moved into their stables, which they will be as soon as the hedgehogs currently camping in there wakes from hibernation and can be released back into the wild. The rabbits will be sharing the stable building with the hens, geese, and a couple of ducks just to keep the snails off the garden. We got a potato harvest of exactly 4 potatoes this year because the damn snails ate all the leaves off our potato plants. The small plot of land next to our house will be fenced and we will be getting goats. Goat meat is nom nom, goat cheese is even nommier, and goat kids are fun. So it's funny to hear all this, Pusa, because my sister is basically already in that camp. I don't think she has rabbits at all, but she does have geese and goats and horses and pony and frogs and ducks and dogs and cats and lizards, and I'm sure I'm missing more chickens and other stuff. So Yes, that's actually hilarious to hear, and good job with the rabbit. Yum. I've still never had rabbit. That sounds so good. Anyhow. On the more geeky front, the Spawn is playing Pokemon. He got Heart Gold for his 3DS, and he plays it with me. As in, I tell him how far we have progressed in the storyline, keep track of what needs to be done, give him hints on how to catch different Pokemon, and help him pass tricky encounters. He loves Pokemon so much that he has been wearing the Pokeball belt he got for Christmas pretty much non-stop since. My gift from him was a bracelet with plastic beads and an explanation of which beads were which Pokemon. I got Mewtwo, 6 Master Balls, Raichu, Pikachu, Mew, Electrode, Entei, Pidgeotto, Sunflora, Raikou, Zapdos, Articuno, Ghastly, Haunter, and a fully evolved Feraligatr, level 100, and a Rattata with Hyperfang. Aside from that, he got a Lego Minecraft set, and he spent a few hours putting it together with his dad while I could take a nap. Gotta love Minecraft. Octel, play Witcher 3, do it! Just do it! Octel, you see, Poos is telling you. Hubby got it and he played it for hours. He loves it, and even though I haven't played it but only watched it, I love it too. And if your horse, Roach, ever seems to be missing, just look for the nearest stable where it is broken in and is busy eating the occupant's food. Let's see. Eldritch Horror and Arkham Horror are board games, as are Mice and Mystics. Mice and Mystics is awesome, and we've been playing it for months with the Spawn. An hour and a half, a couple of times a week, has brought us all the way to the final chapter, and once the holidays are over, I am certain that we will finish the game. The new generation of board games where you cooperate to beat the game is fantastic. It's great fun for us, but for us it requires a table where we can leave the game for the next time. It takes quite some time to pack and unpack it every time with tokens, board, markers, counters, and cards. Good luck, have fun, Pusa. Again, now without even the stream, sob. Thank you very much, Pusa. We love getting emails from you, and thank you for helping us out with the show. So I will say one thing with that. I forgot to mention board games earlier, and one of the ones we played with my nephew is he's got the Samurai game that we played before, as well as this other one. Oh, and I am going to butcher the name because all I did is take Snapchats of it. But it's essentially, and someone can help me with this, maybe copy. Is it Fox in Japanese that's called? But it's like Kuragi or Kuriga. It's not Kurigami. Well, maybe. I don't know. But it's basically a game where you play a bunch of little foxes whose job it is to convince some fools that they are wrong. And Kitsune, thank you. See, I knew. Copy has my back. She knows all the things. And so the Kitsune game that my nephew has, he really enjoys. It's got a great anime look to the way it's all artworked and drawn. But essentially, you put fool cards out there that have attributes, and they represent one of each of the 7 deadly sins. And your characters have different attributes that allow them to have, it's not wrath points, but they're points wit that they use to damage or fight against the fools. And the higher you have to have a higher wit score than them, or basically wit plus a die roll where there's 2 10-sided die, one for the fool and one for you. And in doing so, you add up with all the modifiers and other people who play against or with you to try to earn it. And for every fool that you basically convince otherwise or beat, you earn a tail. And the goal is to become a 9-tailed fox, a full Kitsune. And so that game was a lot of fun that we played, as well as his samurai one where somebody gets the shogun, and then everyone works either as a ninja against the shogun or as a samurai to help the shogun. Or if you have enough people, a ronin who works on their own and tries to get points up for how much honor they earn in the time that you play. Both really fun games, and it's just one of those things. My family is huge on board games, and it's neat, as Pusa said, about these new kinds of board games out there, especially ones we play together. The only one I've played together against that I really thought was fun was Pandemic, which I still don't think I've successfully beaten Outbreak, and unfortunately don't own myself. So throwing those out there, tons of fun. All right, next email. And this is in response, or for this show, as it says. Hi, Doc and Ken. Might as well email before I go, though thankfully I will still be able to listen to you guys out there. Probably one of 2 to 3 that I'll allow myself. Anywho, I wish you the best and look forward to the entertainment. Geek cred! This is coming from our friend Wrath, who's in the IRC right now. I've been continuing my Blizzard adventure the last couple of weeks and onward. Having a blast on Heroes of the Storm, though I lose most matches against people. Also working hard on Hearthstone. Shout out to Ken, highest rank I've ever made is 17. Between those two games, the daily quests make them quite rewarding and I love it. Also making progress and playing a good amount of WoW as I've become quite hyped for the Legion expansion. I've also been playing Binding of Isaac nearly as much as possible. It's been a blast and fulfills the part of my that enjoys punishment, hee hee. Kudos for all the hours you guys have on Minecraft. Doc has an idea of how much time I've put in the game, but for you, Ken, most recent run I've had was about 3 months, and before that I played Minecraft exclusively for 8 months in 2002 to 2013, or 2012 to 13. Long email, but thanks for everything, guys. Very respectfully, from Wrath. Thank you very much for the email and for your geek cred. And it's good, I have to temper myself because while I am a Blizzard hater, I know a lot of people out there love them. And so, thank you, Wrath, for giving us some perspective and some interest that you have in the upcoming Blizzard titles. Let's see. You know, it's funny, right? I have Tabletop Simulator, but I don't think I've ever sat down and actually played it. I do have it. I flipped a table once or twice, but I haven't sat down and actually done a full introduction of a game. I've just kind of shown that it exists and works. We'll have to look at that in the future. I would love to play one of those via, like, Google Hangouts or something like that so we can see each other's faces while playing the actual game. We'll see. All right. Next email. Sorry, not last. And this one says, Dear Crew X, it's a New Year's email. Seraph is here with the New Year's new email about news. First of all, a shout out to my little brother for having the balls to take his ball and make it go for the UK to live and work there. I might follow him in a couple months. Very cool, being curious to know where he's at. As for news actually relevant to the show, and all the Game of the Year awards, highlights include Metal Gear Solid 5 winning Best Music with 80s Pop, CD Projekt Red being awesome, and Undertale winning the most mobilized fan base contest, cleverly named Best.Game.Ever by GameFAQs. Things that have not been discussed to death by every gaming site, however, this year's is the Mod and Indie of the Year contest. Hail the glorious PC gaming modder race and our access to infinite free content. My pick, of course, would be Brutal Doom version 20B. Now with a so-called starter pack, a standalone level pack that sort of reminded me of Half-Life with the level design, scripted sequences, crawling around air vents, and you get to drive a tank and helicopter in Doom. Another project I noted, Armies of Azeroth for StarCraft 2, remaking the entirety of Warcraft 3 with brand new models, animations, and graphics. That actually sounds really cool. On the indie front, Undertale. Undertale is love. Undertale is life. But coming from small studios. Oh, wait, I missed that. Also, Necrodancer, Shovel Knight, Broforce, all great pixel art games coming from small studios. 2015 has been a year where AAA releases sucked for the most part, but 8-bit nostalgia bombs. As for me, I'm kind of resubscribed to EVE Online and Elite and WildStar. One is fun, the other is making me want to play more to get more money, and the third could have been such a great MMO experience. But instead it's about trucking in space. I have no idea why so many sci-fi games suddenly took my interest. This coming to us from Serathis. P.S. Broforce has the best theme song ever. P.P.S. Arkham Knight, I believe in you. Why did you do this to me? Why? Yeah, a lot of people had mixed reviews of Arkham Knight. But that's okay. Let's see. Aw, look at that. It says, let's see, words, I'm good at them. Copy, I am not. Let's see. Also, Wrath saying that his wife is giving him crap for being a ShowX fanboy. It's okay, be a fanboy. In fact, share your fandom. Let other people know about us. We like more followers. And he's in London. Awesome, because that's the place to be if you can afford to be there and a lot going on. Alright, so, and Kuro, when you say that, I think there's a lot of words out there that people just make up examples for. But there are some links that Serathis has included in here, and thank you for doing this because, in all honesty, I had forgotten to put this in myself. It's one of those things. I'm normally a huge fan and follower of all the things that are mods, and I just, for whatever reason, I guess because I just got Fallout 4 to start thinking about major mods again, that I hadn't looked at it. But there's several links he provided, but basically to the Mod of the Year awards. And I look at some of these, which are just, I think, great. So, he has them in order. 10th, it's a Portal game. It's called Stories, Mel, which is a full total conversion for Portal 2, consisting of 22 levels with new environments and puzzles. Are you kidding me? Complete with over 350 voice lines and a full soundtrack, custom models, textures, particles, and much more. It says it takes 6 to 10 hours to play through. That's like the time frame of the original Portal. And it's a mod, and it's free. What? So you can go to ModDB and pick these up. Stalker, Call of Chernobyl. And it's a free play sandbox map pack with 32 maps and over 400 smart terrains and respawns. Basically go in there and mod yourself. 8th, Fallout Project Brazil. And basically this adds a whole new story and a new player character to the... Which one is it? I think, let's see. It's a prequel to New Vegas. And I don't know if it's a mod for Fallout 3 or for New Vegas. 7th is Thrawn's Revenge, Imperial Civil War, which is a large-scale mod for Empire at War, Forces of Corruption, which includes, basically, it's a Star Wars mod. And has this whole thing where it's the Civil War after Palpatine's death at Endor. How cool is that? It's Star Wars, and it's a whole mod for playing RT. It's so cool. Another one is War Sword Conquest, which is a conversion of Warbands, Mountain Blade. 5th is a Clash of Kings, which is a Game of Thrones, basically, version for Mountain Blade. 4th is Ultimate Apocalypse mod, which proudly presents the Dawn of War Soulstone players and fans an eagerly awaited, packed with epic content and gaming experience. Basically, it's a mod that features Warhammer 40k battles. Let's see what else they have. Mental Omega, which is a mod for Command & Conquer Yuri's Revenge, which is hilarious that they have one for anything as old as that. They have Rise of the Reds for Command & Conquer Generals. And first place they gave Edane mod, which aims to take you deeper into Middle Earth than ever before and create a game worthy of Tolkien's books and the movies. And so it's a whole overhaul of gameplay and graphics where they took everything and basically replaced it with Lord of the Rings. They have new factions with Lothlorien and Rohan. And let's see, Light or Shadow, Defend of the Conqueror, the choice is yours. Basically this whole thing. Go to the page, ton of information there on mods, because mods are one of the things that make us, as basically PC gamers, that master race. There's other ones I have in the countdown, top 5 honorable mentions for ones from Sin's Solar Empire, Dawn of the Reapers, Gunslinger mod for Stalker, Ray of Hope for Stalker, Star Wars Interrogarum, I think for Sins of the Solar Empire, basically a full thing for Sins of the Solar Empire for Star Wars, and Total War Rise of Mordor. Another one to get you into Middle Earth, but this time in Total War, and this is for the Attila version of it. And then the last link he has out on here is for the Editor's Choice, and they have, I think, 5 where they have Interaction Award for Tuning mod, which is for Grand Theft Auto, which allows you to change your cars. Creativity Award for that Fallout Project Brazil. Community Award for that Sins of a Galactic Empire mod. Worldly Award for Stalker Call of Chernobyl. Visuality Award for Brutal Half-Life, make everything bloody. And Best Upcoming for Warcraft Armies of Azeroth, which is the StarCraft 2 remake of Warcraft 3, which actually I do want to go check that out. Best Overhaul for Star Trek Continuum Remastered, which is Homeworld 2 meets Star Trek Armada 2, and I can't wait till that hits, and since that's a remastered one, that's a mod for Homeworld Remastered, hopefully in the new engine, because they have all the mod support. Multiplayer Mars City for Doom 3, Best Single Player Portal Stories, which they talked about, and Best Overall Mental Omega, which is the one for Command & Conquer. Silent Hill had a mod, Star Wars, was that Bear Force? Which is, yeah, so that's basically all the mods you say. But no, modding community keeps us alive, keeps us strong. Very much thanks, Serathis, for pointing that out to me. I had forgotten all about it. So, awesome! Awesome! Let's see. Alright, last email coming in this week is from our good friend Copy. Says, hello, Mr. Wayne. Happy New Year. See, this is what happens when you write an email when you know I'm already on a solo show. Yesterday was my first try of the Oculus 3D. What's it? Really? I played Elite something something. So that would probably be the new Elite game that's out there. Flew around a bunch, then blew up a space station. Playing with glasses and sides of headpiece really hurt the bridge of my nose, but the ear experience was still pretty spiffy. One of the things with the Oculus is if you adjust it right, you can actually fit it really well with glasses because they know that's an issue. But also for a lot of people, if you're nearsighted, if you can only see things up close, you need glasses to see far, you likely won't need glasses for the Oculus because the screen is so close that even with the projection of the lenses, you probably won't need one. So I'm not sure the condition, but in a way it should work both ways. Anyhow, I bought my passes for Anime North, but I still only have Fire Emblem cosplay planned. Looking at my current hoard of materials to pick another costume. Lastly, I ordered a Phantasy Star Online 2. Oh gosh, how did you say that? F1 Wear One resin figure as a birthday present to myself. Yes, Wayne. Bad copy. We've discussed these things. That's all for now. Time to lose the rest of the week watching awesome games done quickly. Bye. Much love. The original copy. So very cool, good geekdom from everyone out there. And it's funny, Copy brings that up about the cosplay, or about cosplay and about Anime North. And it's the beginning of the year, and I've got to figure out what my schedule is going to be like. I actually need to sit down and either talk to Faux New Earl? I don't know. Phonetics, thank you. But it's one of those things where I need to figure out what my schedule is going to be like for this upcoming year. What cons am I going to? What traveling am I doing, either out of country, out of state, things like that, to go to different events? I need to plan out as early as I can so I can start setting aside both time off from work as well as money to do so. I'm already starting it like I did last year with CES, mostly because I'm excited for some of the things I'll be this year, and I don't know what's going to happen here with the rest of it. I know initially that I have at least one anime convention coming up in the springtime here, and I know there's a few around. And I know there's a sci-fi one down in the Springs I could go to, depending on who's going. Only ones I'm looking at for sure right now are Denver Comic-Con and NDK here in Colorado. Outside of that, honestly, I'm damn tempted to go to Anime North again. It was a blast last year, and I just don't know if I'd be able to get hotels and stuff like that, and if I have the time and money. The nice thing is it doesn't counteract with DCC this year. It's just they're a couple weeks apart, and so I'd be spending that money twice for trips. What else? After NDK, I was potentially looking at Japan this year. I don't think I've done the work to make that happen unless I win some amazing contest out there. I know there's one from Crunchyroll that if you sign up a new account, which I don't have, you can win a trip to Japan. That'd be nice. I have a group of friends who want to go on a cruise this year, so I have to counter that into my planning and time off. I'd love to go back to PAX one time, maybe with the Alpha Geek Radio guys, with Casually Hardcore, with the group that goes to that, because that's a ton of fun. Every once in a while, I swear I need to skip a CES, because that's just money I don't want to spend. As DJ Bullock's throwing in there, Colorado Anime Fest. So many potential things to go to, but I also am stuck that I don't even know what costumes I want to pull off this year. I know I want to start working on B from Naruto, just because it's another black character that I think I could pull off, which would be a ton of fun. I want to do, like I said, I want to do Ganondorf at some point there. I need to use my my garter belt that I did for panty and stocking again. I've only used it once at a smaller con. I'd like to do it with an actual panty and stocking. That would be wonderful. If we get information on ChibiCon going out to Vancouver for that convention, I want to do that still, but we need to find the details. So anyhow, there's a lot of planning that's going to come up, and so I've got to figure that out. And kind of leads me into one of the things that I want to propose as kind of a question for everyone this week. As we are now in a new year, I want to ask anybody, and I've seen some articles about this, what are your geek or gaming New Year's resolutions? People like to go through this trend of making resolutions. What am I going to do better this year than what I did last year? And they can be about all kinds of things, usually life-changing. I'm going to go to the gym more. I'm going to be more diligent about what I eat. I'm going to not let people run over me as much, be kind but not taken advantage of. All these kind of things you can do for various types of New Year's resolutions to better ourselves, to say that we're going to be better this year than I was in the past. And yes, Copy, I know you could be panty, and I know Chibi could be stocking, and I know that Fork could be, I always forget the dog's name, or could be Brief, or whatever. So I know those could happen, that would be fun. But for the New Year's resolution, one that specifically I've seen is for us as gamers, and that's pretty much what all of us identify as or are, is what are we going to do more this year or less this year than last year as gamers. And so for me, and I'd love to hear your example, so please for emails into the show, let me know what your plans, or even if you didn't have any plans, something you might come up with as a gamer for things you want to do as New Year's resolution. For me, I'd like to stream more, and I'd like to make my streams more entertaining, put some effort into what the stream looks like. I cheat because I always use my NVIDIA built-in software to stream, so I don't even worry about overlays and stuff like that, but I've been watching enough other streamers out there to be part of what's regular today should have some actual things set up for borders, and if people are donating, following all those kind of bots you run to keep track of it, I should probably at least get to that standard. Other things for me gaming is hopefully playing seriously at least one MMO. Right now it's Guild Wars 2, see if I can actually spend the time in there to learn and do something with it. I want to, one of my just geek ones is to make sure I keep 3D printing all year and actually start selling some of the prints I do to help refund basically the cost on it to improve my, so I can invest in more 3D printing. I'd like to at least design 1 or 2 3D prints this year, either for my own costume or for others. Heaven forbid, one of my New Year's resolutions should be, and we'll see if I can, is to stay on top of my photo edits. If I take photos, getting edits out as quickly as possible, not sitting on them for months. Wouldn't that be nice? So beyond that, what else? I would like to actually complete, here's one I'll throw out there. I want to finish the main storyline to actually have beaten at least 5 games this year. Like, actually fully complete games that I purchase or have in my library, finish, as well as maybe 5 games that have already existed in my library prior. And so I'm going to actually put note of them in the show notes here that I said that. That I made that as a New Year's resolution to see, because I'll check myself to see if I could actually complete, complete 5 games through their full story and complete 5 games that are sitting in my Steam library. Because there are so many games I keep getting news and shinies that I don't even spend time on games I already own. One of the ones I'd like to throw out there for your guys' response and helping me, alright? I would love for you guys to help me with this, is that I have a New Year's resolution to play via whatever means I have available one of the, not original, but one of the GameCube era forward Nintendo titles for Zelda. Because I have never played any of them. I've never played Ocarina, I've never played Majora's Mask, I've never played basically any of these Zeldas. What I need from you guys is to tell me which one I need to play. So what one Zelda title on a newer system do I need to complete? And what I can do is either document, I can always go through and document my process of playing one because all of you guys will have done it, know it, and I'll be a noob about it. But I would actually like input from you guys, and maybe what I'll do is make either on social media or on the front page or something, I'll put in a post that says which of these titles should I play. But I'd love if you'd email the show, showxvtwproduction.com, and tell me what Zelda game should I play. And that way I can actually learn just one of them. So you see, Copy already cheating me and saying Ocarina of Time and Majora. Well, so that's what I say, GameCube fewer, or is it N64? Sorry, N64 newer. Whichever ones. But for any ones where they went 3D, essentially. From the 3D forward, which ones I need to play. So please teach me, let me know. But yeah, I would love for you guys to email and show some of your gaming New Year's resolutions, what you plan on accomplishing in 2016 as a geek, as a gamer, as basically our community. Please let me know. All right. Those are the ones I have. I could probably put a dozen more, but I have limited time as well. All right. So, with that, I think that's all of the ones I had to go through. That's the emails I had. Excuse me. So with that, I'm going to complete some news. First bit of news I have, and this is from the email because I've been meaning to cut this out of here, but the title essentially is that this is an email I got into my account that I use for media. So being a media member of the geek community and gaming stuff, for reviews and stuff. But this one is one that was titled Rift SDK 1.0 shipping to developers with final Rift hardware. I don't know if I mentioned this or talked this at all before. Oh, wait, I have to do 2 things. One, Wrath's leaving. Peace, Wrath. Thank you for joining us, as always. 2, do this and say,
Technology, news, and more today on the Geekoscope.
ha, Geekoscope time. As I was saying from the email, as I lose things here, where did that go? There we go. The Rift SDK version 1.0, the final version of the Oculus Rift, has been sent to developers. And so what it says, if you're shipping a Rift title in Q1, you'll need early access to Rift hardware and new platform features to finalize your game or application. The Rift SDK 1.0 and runtime include features tied to consumer product, so we've currently limited the release to developers putting final touches on launch titles. So essentially what this is, as a Rift developer that I anything, note saying the final version of the SDK is out there, what is being sent for the first titles that will be released, as well as for people who are basically done or about to be finished and will have titles they can release at the same time as the Rift. They're giving them the final version of the hardware, or allowing them for the purchase to get them first, so they can test and get all set for the launch of the Oculus. What's this mean to us? It means that the launch of the Oculus is real. It is coming very soon. We know that the new controllers, the touch controllers they have been delayed till the end of the year, but at least the Oculus itself, which was already going to be coming with an Xbox controller, should be out, as they stated, in this first quarter, the first 3 months this year. I am desperately hoping that they'll have all that, like I said, at top of show at CES, and if they have the availability for me to pre-order it, I'll do it there. Don't care, I'm getting one. But this is just kind of confirmation that it is coming, it's ready, at least if nothing else, the dev side of it, the hardware and the actual software behind it are ready to go. So I'm very excited for that. Go VR, go 3D, can't wait. Next article. And this is, again, just kind of clear out the inbox and make sure I have these things out there, is an article that says Shodan returns in System Shock 3. So this is a little bit of an older announcement, but Other Side Entertainment is going to make System Shock 3. So Looking at Glass founder Paul Neurath united System Shock series talent for authentic, innovative sequel. Whoa. I guess looking for. Other Side Entertainment, the developer studio behind the upcoming fantasy RPG Underworld Ascendant, which is another thing I have up there that I'm really excited for, I'll bring up next, is excited to officially announce development of System Shock 3, the sequel to landmark System Shock series. Last week, or earlier, posted a teaser on their website, OtherSideTease.com, with cryptic lettering hinting at a new game. Internet hackers quickly cracked the site, prematurely revealing the game's title. As part of the fun, series AI antagonist Shodan appeared to mock the hackers with new taunts each day. Nice thing is being in this network where I get media stuff and announcements like this. One of the things I have assets I can download, which are pictures, things like that. But essentially, go to the site and you can check out what's coming out with that. System Shock's one of those games that I've always been excited about, because it's basically us as geeks doing the whole computer takes over, kills us, or tries to, and us fighting against. Really neat environment. And yes, it's interesting. So what they're saying, and System Shock 1 remake, not remastered, but remake. The whole point is, most people who've played System Shock truly enjoyed it and are therefore very excited for these announcements that new games are coming out along the series. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully all of you are as well. So what I was just saying about and coming up with as well on this one, if I can find my note for it, here it is. Underworld Ascendant, first prototype uncloaked. So what this is really for people to watch after the show. You can check it in the show notes. But it's a YouTube video, or it's their actual site, essentially. But it shows, where is it? I think I grabbed their overall site, but if you scroll down into it, you can see Underworld Ascendant prototype. There's one with commentary and just kind of a view of it. 5-minute long view of what they're working on with a new Underworld game. People who don't know what Underworld is, it was originally Ultima Underworld. And Ultima Underworld was this amazing series of games that was some of the first to really envelop you into what it meant to be kind of like first-person dungeon crawling, is how I'd put it. It was just really, really well done. And so this is kind of a follow-on to what Ultima Underworld was, if I'm not mistaken. Because I was looking at the graphics of it, it looks gorgeous. Lighting effects, things like that, and they have you going out and picking up items, starting this whole event. I don't know, it's just got so much potential I have, where if it's like the original where you can actually cast spells through runes, And I don't know if it's truly a follow-on to it, but it has that feel and look, so I'm really excited for the potential of this game. But same company now that's working on System Shock, also looks quality, open ways to access and finish puzzles where you don't have to do it one way or another. Looks exciting to me. So just throwing that out there, and that's one I've been sitting on for a while that I wanted to get out there. I also have some discussion points I want to bring up, but I gotta wait until I have like either a group of others to talk with or Ken's back. I keep meaning to go into some of those. Some coding information, things like that. One of the ones for Ken, although he's not here, so I'll bring it up regardless. This is kind of a public awareness thing for everyone out there. Have you been getting annoyed lately, or have you been hit up a lot by Microsoft lately to tell you you have to upgrade to Windows 10? Microsoft is being very, very strong in their suggestion that people upgrade from Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 to the new Windows 10 OS. Challenge is, while I do believe Windows 10 is a great OS and I'm running it on most all of my computers now, I haven't upgraded on the server yet that runs the 24/7 stream. Why? Because sometimes you have proprietary software that is built and is able to run on certain OSs, but not all. One of the issues we have is that all our old licenses we have for SAM only work on Windows 7 or earlier, do not work on Windows 8 or Windows 10, which is a challenge. My desktop, while now running Windows 10, is why I've been doing the show consistently lately from the laptop, which is Windows 10, because the license we have for the upgrade of SAM, Broadcaster 2012, or 2014, is expensive for one, and only allows 3 installs per license, and so we've already maxed it, and I don't have one for that box, because I have to have the server, this laptop, as well as Ken. Or we have in the past. I already did it. And so like that with other businesses and things, sometimes it's not appropriate for it to upgrade to a new OS until you've done upgrades or figured out all the software you rely on is upgradable or available to work on that new OS. Well, to help you all out and to make it a little easier for those people who don't want Windows 10, here is a site where they're talking about, do you have Windows 8? Windows 8 1 PCs that you're getting you don't want to upgrade to Windows 10? Well, chances are you're being nagged every time to pull the trigger on the upgrade. Here's how to make the hassle go away. And the person writing this wants to make it clear, he doesn't think there's anything wrong with 10, same thing I'm saying, but because of some of those issues, sometimes you don't want to be forced into it. It says, because there's no official off switch for the update prompts, something that that the writer feels Microsoft should offer all its customers, you have to go to a third-party tool to do so. The tool that they're using in this article is GWX Control Panel. It's small, simple to use, and they say it's malware-free and very effective at keeping Windows 10 upgrade prompts at bay and taming Microsoft's unbound enthusiasm for its new operating system. And apparently can also delete the 6 gigs plus of Windows 10 installer files that might already have been downloaded to your PC. And so if you're curious about still using Windows 7 or 8.1 and may upgrade to 10 at your own pace and don't want Microsoft bugging you into it, there's a tool you can use to help stop. And that's something because Ken, I know, sent me a Snapchat at one point of his machine upgrading to Windows 10 and saying, I didn't mean for this to happen. How did it go? How did this happen? I think Kuro might have done something similar as well. Another article on this one coming from Tom's Hardware, but explaining, hey, those of us, Kuro, I know you were definitely one of these people, who might have noticed something a little odd on Christmas Day on Steam, and we talked about it a little bit last week. So this is saying that Steam has finally come up to talk about what happened on Christmas Day. It says last week, or during Christmas, something went wrong with Steam. As players browsed through the massive catalog of discounted games as part of the Steam Winter Sale, they saw the private information of other Steam users, such as their billing address, purchase history, and the last 2 digits of their credit card number. According to Valve, the issue lasted for 2 hours, and that service was back to normal. Almost a week after the issue, they finally provided details. It started with a denial of service attack on Steam, which increased traffic to the store 2,000% above average. The attacks are common, and Valve stated that it handles the problem in-house with the help of other companies. Once the attack was detected, a series of caching rules set by what Valve called a Steam web caching partner were implemented to soften the blow on Steam Store while continuing to allow legitimate users access to the site. However, the second wave of DOS attacks prompted another caching configuration, but it incorrectly stored data for a few authentic users. This in turn showed other users' accounts on various pages, and even a change in the language presented in the store. And that's something that I know Kuro saw. In light of the error, the store closed while another cache configuration was placed. Once it was confirmed that the new process worked and the sensitive data was no longer visible, the digital store reopened for business. Obviously, Valve apologized for the incident and promised to work with its partners to not only identify those whose partial information was revealed, but to also improve the caching process to prevent the issue from reappearing in the future. The fact that this had happened on Christmas Day is no coincidence. During the holiday season, many players receive presents through other friends on Steam, while some get store credit through physical gift cards. Combine that with the ever-popular winter sales on the site, Steam becomes a major hub with a large volume of players who all want to spend money on heavily discounted games. So the nice thing about that is Valve has been very upfront and open with what happened to their store. Now the interesting part I have, because I didn't actually notice it, I saw it when Kuro posted and said, "What's happening with my Steam?" and I went on and mine seemed fine. But with it, there's a question of, since they had to shut the store down for essentially 2 hours, what did that cost them? Because that was like the highlight of buy and sell time on Steam, where it's all the sales. I mean, the sales are the same sales. But what better day than to get it on Christmas Day and send it to someone? Now, granted, you can also buy them earlier on sale and hold them in your inventory and give them out later, which is awesome. But just kind of interesting thing. I'm curious how much that actually cost Steam, or if they basically bounced back from it without worrying. But thought that was kind of a neat thing that happened. All right. Or not neat thing, but nice that they let us know. Oh gosh, I wish Ken was here for this. Let's see. I will instead go for this one, because Ken doesn't give a rat's arse. But I already know some that are doing something with this. So, from Engadget, this is a slightly older article that came back in November. I've been holding it because I am very curious and interested and want to find a stop near me. So this is an article talking about virtual pop star Hatsune Miku will tour North America in 2016. So people who don't understand, Hatsune Miku may have started out as a humble mascot for music production software suite, but today she's a bona fide pop star. She's about to embark on her first multi-state US tour. Yes, it's a little weird if you think about it too much, but it's happening. Starting in April, Miku Expo will be touring Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Dallas, Toronto, copy, and New York, with other possible cities to be revealed later. Technically, this event bills itself as an expo, but every stop on the tour is a concert venue. A VIP ticket buys you a solid seat at the show, early entry, a collectible expo badge, and exclusive VIP merchandise for the virtual idol's biggest fans. And so, need reason to care about an artificially created pop star? How about an excuse to see a holographic concert performance without the creepy dead celebrity undertones? I like that. So for those who don't know, Hatsune Miku is essentially a Vocaloid, one of these virtual stars who's been used a totally synthesized voice to create a singer, and they went so far as to make one of those kind of display projection screen kind of shows, and they've done this in Japan, where it looks like the character is actually there on stage. They did it with Tupac, they did it with some other stars in the past, kind of showing ways of doing virtual artists. Well, what better way to do it than with an actual virtual artist? And so I know I'm excited about it. I hope they announce something in the Denver area. If not, I don't know, maybe I'll come out to San Francisco, visit my brother's family again here, and go to a concert. Or maybe that'll be an opportunity to maybe find a reason to go back up to Toronto or something like that. Who knows? But I definitely want to check her out if I can find tickets anywhere nearby. Alrighty. What else do I have in here for this week? Getting ready, let's see, getting ready for the new year. So, as we are now at the beginning of this next year, one of the things to always discuss is, what do we have to look forward to? So, one of the things we have to look forward to is new games! There are going to be all kinds of new games coming out this year. And, DJ Bullock, you're going to have to tell me about that, because I did not hear about that thing about NDK last year. I want to know what? So, yeah, let me know. We'll have to have a chat. Alright, so, this coming from Tech Radar. And it's a wrong link. I have to copy and paste again. I can imagine, Kuro, how that line would have been for any concert like that. That would have been ridiculous. Alright, so, see, I got to use my connections like DJ Bullock to say, get me behind the scenes, or get me on stage, those kind of things. All right, top 10 games to look out for 2012. So this is a look at some of the games that we have that are coming out that people are excited for. So let's see. Starting off the list, we have Far Cry Primal. I don't know if you guys have followed, but Ubisoft still appears to be deaf to our Jurassic Park-obsessed cries of dinosaurs, but we definitely get closer with this chunk of Stone Age open-world chaos. This time we're behind the eyes of Hunter Takar, who must kill or be killed in an environment that has far bigger teeth than anything the series has seen before. Saber-toothed tigers, enormous bears, and woolly mammoths are just some of the savagery on offer, but you also can tame a selection of local wildlife to help you take on rival factions of the world. Dino DLC, anyone. And this one, do they have anything about dates? I don't see dates coming out, but this coming off the next in the Far Cry series, and it's something that I kind of saw, but I'm like, I don't know if I care about it or not. It's going to be pretty, because it's Far Cry, and they're going to use that whole open savanna type engine they've had for years now. Be curious to see what story they provide with it. Next one, Tom Clancy, The Division. This is one I know that when I first saw it at E3, and they even mentioned it in 2013, people were very excited for. And this is another Ubisoft one that's got a massive open-world gun-packed RPG, is finally handing over controls to Pandemic. Control of Pandemic-struck New York, sorry. On note, other than that Black Friday, we knew it was a bad thing. A virus infects the city, effectively collapsing society. This was neat because of the co-op stuff they've shown it and how people are to communicate and go through some interesting kind of scenarios in the game. I'll be very curious to see. Plus, Tom Clancy tends to have a certain polish to it, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, Tom Clancy makes Rainbow Six Siege, which Paz and Campo and those guys love, and I just started playing enough to kind of actually get better at, so maybe appreciate. I'm looking forward to The Division. Let's see. Uncharted 4, Thief's End. So if you have a PS4, so not as many of us, Nathan Drake's final gun-toting adventure from Naughty Dog will be here in a matter of months. In March, we'll be able to take control of his half-untuckedness as he joins his presumed dead brother and returns to treasure hunting after 3 years in retirement. And it's supposedly going to be the last in the series on the PlayStation 4. Should be gorgeous. I know the preview stuff that I've seen at E3 and other, I think it was PAX something else, had some beautiful looking action in it. So I don't have a PS4. If I did, this would definitely be on my list. Next one, Quantum Break for the Xbox One. Got time to kill? You do now. The long-awaited Xbox One exclusive from Max Payne and Alan Wake devs Remedy sees leading man Jack Joyce both freeze and speed up time while dishing out bullet-packed justice. Honestly, I haven't even heard about this one. Probably because it's on the Xbone. And I haven't been following consoles so much, but curious nonetheless to see what is going to happen with anything on these consoles that makes them look relevant and good. Next one, Dishonored 2, which that's probably going to be one of the games I pull from my collection that I need to play and do is Dishonored 1 for all platforms. Because deep down you knew this was how that little princess would turn out. The powerful empress who can travel using tentacles. This sequel from Arcane Studios sees the return of Emily Caldwin and, of course, original stealthy assassin Corvo. Says that Caldwin has been displaced by an otherworldly usurper, and the mysterious outsider has returned and gifted her with a handy new set of powers to reclaim her throne. Both Corvo and Emily will be playable, and once again, it will be possible to sneak through the new area of a Karnaca without killing a soul, but where exactly is the fun in that? Dishonored got rave reviews, and I'm looking forward to see a new one to see what they do with it. Next one, No Man's Sky, PC and PS4. What we really need right in the middle of the year, an infinite game with endless possibilities. This one's gotten a ton of press for what could be an amazingly progressively generated universe. The space sim would allegedly take 5 billion years to visit every procedurally generated planet in its universe, so maybe one to leave until a long weekend. There's a main goal of No Man's Sky as you journey to the center of the universe in your spaceship, but there's many, many ways to get there, and the game never truly ends. Planets can be mined, wildlife obliterated, resources sold, new players met, and there's even a unique periodic table to discover and craft. That one's one of these really ambitious, could be everything games, if they get the tech right. So we shall see. Next, they have Horizon Zero Dawn. This one looked gorgeous in everything they've shown. On the PS4, it says, if you thought gaming bows were so 2013, Tribal Hunter Alloy is bringing them back in 2016 in this action RPG that just happens to feature killer robot dinosaurs. What? Robot dinosaurs? Killzone devs Guerrilla Games have gone and destroyed humanity again, and this time set 1,000 years after the fall of life as we know it. Yet, this new Stone Age isn't about saber-tooth tigers. We'll be taking on a slew of robotic animal hybrids that include T-Rex-style monsters known as Thunderjaw that shoots a barrage of missiles. Surviving means Alloy needs to find new and inventive ways to hunt the myriad techno beasts that stalk the open world with inspirations for her character, including Game of Thrones, Ygritte, and Aliens Ripley. This looks like she's up to the job. And for ladies out there, another strong female protagonist. Be happy. Here you go, Kuro, like you're saying, Doom. Yes, it's been 12 years since Doom 3, and yes, we feel really old too. Try Doom 1. Previously known as Doom 4, but now just goes back to the roots of the shooter that defined the genre. This is the ultimate gory comeback from the original devs, id Software. While everything you loved from the series is here, shotguns, chainsaws, and veritable rivers of blood, there's all new melee attack, double jumps to add even more chaos to the mix. Sprinkle in classic enemies such as Pinky Demons, Barons of Hell, Zombie Men, and we're going to have one hell of a good time. And it says spring of this year, so soon! Oh my gosh, and it does look gorgeous, and I hope my PC can run it. Also, Kuro, I heard you talk about this, or was Sarah this or you, but Deus Ex Mankind Divided. We definitely did ask for this, although maybe not all these delays. Adam Jensen will now return in August of 2016 as part of an international police team known as Task Force 29, who are taking on a rogue group of augmented humans. While Human Revolution restricted your choice when it came to ways to play, Eidos Montreal wants players to be able to do exactly what they want, and fully non-lethal playthroughs are possible this time around with Jensen's fist-mounted electroshock tools. They don't even have to be fully stealth-based, ideal for some guilt-free violence. And last on the list, and it's funny because pause is saying Dark Souls 3. Unfortunately not. On this list they have Mass Effect Andromeda. And it says, and so the show goes on without Commander Shepard. Salutes. We've not seen much of BioWare's Mass Effect Andromeda. Note the important lack of a 4. But we do know that the follow-up to Shepard's pioneering trilogy will have a brand new main character and cast. Eagle-eyed fans have spotted the name Ryder in the latest trailer, so we might already have a name for our hero who will be exploring Andromeda's galaxy. Research and exploration will apparently be key, and we'll be seeing the return of Mass Effect's Mako vehicle, which BioWare has confirmed will be far more fun to steer reassuringly. So, with that, and that is a bunch of titles that are coming out on multiple platforms, and I know there are a ton more that are coming out in the next year. I mean, let alone everything VR and stuff like that. But a good question then to throw all of you, since I can only see so much of the internet at any one time. What are some of the games you are looking forward to this year? What are some of the things I should help others be aware of so we can make sure the whole community's out there to maybe play some games together, which is always fun? As well as just in general things you cannot wait to have in front of you to play games on. Pause has already mentioned Dark Souls 3. I about said BioWare, or Bioshock. Dark Souls 3, as he mentioned multiple times. Something tells me there's some other games all of you are interested as well. Notably, nothing in there I think was noted for the Wii U, so there's some titles out there people are hoping will come out or have been announced. So we should see some things there. As well as always, all the stuff PC. So I'm kind of curious, what else are you looking forward to this year as we start 2016? All of these possibilities, all these things we can talk about and do for this year. Alright, with that, I want to say that's all of the news articles and content I have for the show this week. I would like to ask everyone again, and please help us out here. As we're going into a new year, like we worry about every year, I want to make sure this show is something that all of you find entertaining. Not just because it's me and you guys love me. Thank you. I appreciate the love. I really do. But because I want this to be entertaining for you. This is a show for all of us. I just happen to be one of the ones who gets to talk on it each week. In making that an effort to improve and make this more customized to you, please let us know feedback. Give us anything at showx@v2wproductions.com to let us know what are we doing right, what is it you enjoy about the show, as well as maybe some things that we can improve upon. Are there things you don't want to hear about? Do you hate hearing each week about us pandering about ourselves and how much we enjoy our lives and the things we get involved with each week? Is that something you enjoy? Do you want to hear more of us about technology news in particular, or certain topics, be it anime, regardless of what GoHex feels, or maybe less? I mean, maybe it is you also don't care about my anime exploits. Just let us know so we can help make sure we bring the show all of you want to see and hear each week. Would very much appreciate it. Also, just as a random shout out, if you haven't seen it, check out Scribble's YouTube channel. And I don't think I have the link on here. Scribble, could you write it yourself in the IRC and I can copy it into the notes? Because I just watched your latest unboxing. If nothing else, it's because I have my own joy in seeing Scribble squeak out her cute voice talking about geeky subjects and how she gets in there about all the things that she participates in for her own geekdom out there in Scotland. But if you could, go check out her YouTube channel and you can catch all of her videos that she posts about unboxings. You can also follow her and see her artwork. She has some great stuff out there. Yes, a lot of it's pony-based, but she has some great talent. So please support Scribble as we see that. I love to support all the members of our community. If you haven't ever heard DJ Bullock DJ, check it out. He runs some great Liquid Trance type tunes for anyone to kind of groove around to, and can even pander to souls like me who like a good beat, as he DJ'd my Halloween party, which was epic. You all missed out on that, just so you know, but people like DJ Bullock. You want to talk some geekdom, some hardcore things about programming and things like that, check out stuff that Kuro does. If you want to see one of the best gamers I know in FPSs and Black Ops and things like that, check out Pause2142. You can check out his Twitch channel, you can check out YouTube and see some of the stuff we do if you want to see someone get called a hacker multiple times in a single match. Other things like that. Who else has things they're involved with that want shouts out on the show? That's another thing. If you do just want a shout out, by all means, email the show, let me know. I'm happy to share what you, the community, are doing. That's the whole point of being part of Versus the World and Versus the World Productions. We are a group, we are a community, you are amongst us. I love it. If any of you are out there and throwing out your things for, thank you, Scribble. That's what I wanted to see. Haha. But if you are doing things that you are excited about in the gaming community, feel free to wear the tag VTW. It is something that I really want others to participate on. I can't play every game, and that's okay. But I do think that VTW Productions and VTW's gaming community is bigger than just me, right? It's not just who I am playing with, but it's also what all of you are doing. And so if there's a point where you are playing and you guys wear the VTW tag, let us know. I'd like to hear your exploits of the week, and so I can tell others what you've been up to. That would be a blast. And so I want represented VTW hard out there for everyone. All right. With that, it is time for me to start wrapping up the show. I am going to at least one more time go back to the IRC and see what people have been talking about, so I don't miss anything. Kuro's been talking about Mountain Blade 2 looking amazing coming up, and of course, Deus Ex. What else do we have? Scribble's talking about Fire Emblem Fates and Persona 5. This thing's looking for, and Serathis looking for the new Mass Effect. I hope he's saying Mass Effect 4 because it's not Parso Andromeda like we talked about. Scribble is saying I haven't been able to find a UK store or site that is stocking. You might have to buy online. That happens. Sucks. Let's see. And copy is already subscribed to Scribble. There you go. Let's see. Serathis. Yes, your channel. Thank you. That is what I like to see. I want to get everybody out there. Maybe I'll put a whole link to people in here for our YouTube channel of that. Yeah, and if nothing else, get something out there for people to kind of have a way to identify with others who else is in the community. And so yeah, that looks like everything for this week. With that, I'll be here again next week as I get back from CES. It's going to be talking all about the geek and what I can hopefully decompress in time. Till then, you've been listening to Show X on VTWProductions.com. Please listen to all of our shows and check out all the guys over at Alpha Geek Radio. We love them. They support us. They allow us to broadcast even broader. Things like TuneIn Radio, and you can find us on your Rokus and other devices like that through them. So check that out. It is past my time, and I need to get out of here. Check me out at DocDead on Twitter. I don't tweet much, but when I do, it's usually geeky. At GoHex for all the stuff he does, and at VTW Show X for the stuff the show puts out there. Check out our YouTube channel, VTW Shows. I think you can look it up for VTW Productions or VTW Shows on YouTube. Find us, follow us, subscribe to us. You can get the show every week and know when we go live. Also, our Facebook channel, check us out there. You can see both VTW Productions, although I don't put much there, as well as Show X, where we do put a ton of geekery. Come and join the community there. You can also join the VTW Gaming Clan. You have to send an invite. It's closed. I have to approve you, but if you send it, I know you. We'll get you in there. All right, with that, thank you everybody for listening. Tell all your friends in the new year. That's a resolution I'd like you all to make, to share VTW Productions and Show X with at least 5 friends this year, preferably this month. Anyhow, all right, we're out. You have a good one. I'll catch you guys later.
Goodbye. See you in the next zombie.